Okay, this is our Pharaoh Akhenaten block for our mystery club this year in the quest for Cleopatra. And this is the demos that we did in class. Thanks for joining us. The first thing you're going to do is cut your strips. You should have 4 of 2 colors. And then down here at the bottom of your pattern, I show you using the quilter's quarter marker how to line this up. So you're going to take your quilter's quarter marker, you're going to set it on your strip, just like it's in the picture here. I have it upside down and backwards. Truly do. Line this up right here on the edge so the point goes right off the fabric, and trim that, okay? We want this to have the same exact angles that it does in your template. If you don't have the quilter's quarter marker, you can go ahead and cut out the template and use that as a template. I find it much easier to use the quilter's quarter marker. So I'm going to cut here, and then I'm going to flip this around, still upside down, line it up on the edge, and cut that edge. So I'm going to have 2 edges that are parallel. This is a parallelogram. Okay, that's my first step. I'm going to do that on all 8 strips. Okay, the next step, I need to make these pieces here where I sew these triangles. I sew these triangles to these. So we're going to take that parallelogram, and you're going to take your first triangle, and you're going to line it up. The tip up here lines up. You have a little tiny overhang here and about a 1/4 inch overhang here. And you're going to stitch from here to here, exactly a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, you're going to make 4 of those in one color, 4 in another color. Here's 4 in this color and 4 in this color. Okay? Now, I have these. I'm going to line them up so the colors are correct. And I'm going to lay the straight, long edges down just like this. If you notice that these tiddlywinks, which I have not cut off yet, I call these tiddlywinks because that's what Mom calls them, make a nice little V here. If you line them up so they make a nice little V, that will make your 1/4 inch seam perfect up here. You should have a 1/4 inch hanging out here and a 1/4 inch hanging out over here, and then that lined up. Then when we stitch our 1/4 inch seam right down here and we open that up, that's going to make a perfect line right along here. So talking about making a perfect line right along here. Right here and right here. This is where we're stitching. Okay, so you're going to do that, and now we've created these guys. And you should have 4 of them. So you're going to put them together like this, and the next thing we have to do is add this triangle. This is where it gets tricky because this is a Y seam, but it's really easy as long as you mark it. The key is making a mark here, 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 and actually down here, okay? So you're going to take your triangles, the first one we're going to mark. I'm going to take my quilter's quarter marker. This is actually a 90-degree angle. My quilter's quarter marker says 90 degrees at point E. I'm going to line that up right on the edge of my 90-degree angle, mark right through with my favorite pencil, and place a mark so I can see it. Then I'm going to put my triangle right back where I'm going to use it. I'm going to take my first corner piece over here, and I need to put a mark here to line that up with. So I'm going to find the angle that matches this angle here, and it's right there. It's the B angle. I can mark right through my ruler, through that dot, and make my mark right there. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing on this one over here. I do it on the back side so that I can see it when I'm stitching. It again matches up with one angle on the ruler. It's the A angle. It's the bottom side of the B because it's the opposite side. Put that little mark right there. Okay? That's my mark. Those are my 3 key marks to make this perfect. I also like to put one down here. You can also use your seam line as where to stop, but if you go ahead and put this on the side that it lines up with and put a mark right there, that's where you need to stop stitching, okay? And do the same thing over here. Same angle, whatever side you can see, take your ruler, line that up, and make a mark there because you need to stop stitching there. So now I'm going to line this back up here like that. I've placed a mark here, 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 and here. I'm going to take my triangle and I am going to line this up with that mark, just like this. I just keep peeking until my marks are absolutely perfect. Do that. That actually lines up here at the tip. My 2 points are lined up perfectly right there. And I'm going to start stitching here and sew out to the edge. This is a 1/4 inch in. That's exactly what I need to make a perfect seam. When I start stitching here, I use tiny stitches. I actually start at 0 and then I go up to my 1.8 and finish out the seam on my 1.8 stitch. Now I've stitched that. I'm now going to take this piece and I'm going to line it up, and I fold my seam back out of the way, and I do the same thing. I just maneuver that until I get those points lined up exactly, just like that. And again, I start stitching right here. I do not stitch anywhere in here. Stitch here, right out to that point right there. Now I've sewn my triangle in, so I have those two sewn. I just take all of that, fold it together. Again, I can still see where my dot is, okay? And I can see where my dot is that I made over here, and I'm going to stitch from here right out to that dot and stop, so that I'm not stitching on any of this. I'm stopping right there at the seam where my dot is. Stitch that, and voila, I have perfect Y seam. And I can still see all my dots back here. There's a dot there, flip over, a dot there, and a dot there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots to help me do this, and it's perfect. Then I go ahead and take my next triangle. Right on that edge, I've got a dot. I'm going to line that up the same way. Line up my dots. It lines up with my seam over here. Stitch that. Take my other piece, put it here, line that up, stitch here into my dot. And then I go all the way around my block, and when I'm finished, voila, I have this. If you stopped stitching at all your dots, you should be able to lay this down, and if you press everything going in a circle, you'll have a nice flat little bump right here. In fact, there's almost a teeny little hole. You really should have a hole, so don't worry about it. Okay, that's your Pharaoh Akhenaten block. Nice job. You've made 2 blocks this month. You're ready to go, and you'll never have to worry about Y seams again.